Some people look out and have a 9 to 5 job, while others working a little later. And sometimes when you work late, you're not the only one there. I don't mean robbers. I mean spooky dooky ghosts. We got some stories today about that, don't we?
Yes, we do. Today we're talking about haunted workplaces.
Have you ever been anywhere you thought maybe it was haunted that you worked at all? Maybe we don't work in cemeteries or anything like that, but...
No, I don't think so.
She does not like my mic positioning, apparently. A little off the center. Anyways, my work now, actually. And I think I've told you about this before. So, just to preface this, my manager was my really close friend. He died last year from drinking. But even before he passed away, we always talked about how we would hear like weird stuff. And I think I told you about this. It was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, when I was in the layaway room. So we have a layaway room in the back of the store. And I was back there helping my cousin find something that someone's picking up from layaway. And I was standing there talking to him, and all of a sudden, something grabs my shirt and pulls it back, enough to turn my arm. And I turned around immediately thinking someone's pulling on my shirt. No one was there. So I'm assuming it was possibly my friend who passed away. I mean, he was there for 20 years. So that's kind of a weird little... Yeah, it's interesting. So I think it's possible.
It would have freaked me out a little bit.
I mean, it did freak me out. We're sidetracking ourselves. But that's what this is about, though. This is what today's subject is about, haunted workplaces. I was kind of curious who else had some experiences, so let's probably get into it and see what we got going on.
This is episode 9, right?
I think this is episode 9. If it's not episode 9, we'll put whatever number it is here, but I think it is 9, though. I think you're right.
Yeah, and sorry we didn't do a podcast last week. We didn't post about it. We just needed a little break. It was a 4th of July weekend. Trying to relax a little bit. So
was that the week I had off?
Yeah, we were trying to do the moving stuff in the heat. Yeah,
the heat was killing us. We didn't really move very much. A couple things.
Well, let's not get into that.
Yeah.
Just want to throw that out there. We didn't forget.
No, didn't forget.
All right, here's our first story. These are all from Reddit, by the way.
Shout out Reddit.
Okay. Being the local corporate world, I guess they mean being in the logical corporate world, there is hardly any space for ghost stories and theories. However, this one I can't ignore. I, 27 male, work as an operations manager for a multi-service company. I work on the 17th floor of a massive high-rise office building in the middle of town.
Don't like that.
I would hate working. I'm scared of heights, yeah. So I would hate working in a high-rise. Most days I waste away with my spreadsheets and inventory, passing the day in front of my computer. Other days I actually visit my sites and talk to my staff. The building I'm in has staff of mine in it, but only 4 of them, so I rarely see them as they generally are on other floors hard at work. Only after 2 weeks of being with the company did I realize that 3 of the floors of the building have no tenants. Just 800 square meters?
Yeah, probably meters. Yeah.
Okay. Of empty, dark rooms with thin walls and dark blue carpets. Each floor has 3 bathrooms, male, female, and paraplegic, which we service only once a month if there are no tenants on the floors. All seemed normal until one day, my elevator ride from my office floor to the ground floor was unintentionally stopped on one of the empty floors.
I'm picturing it.
I'm also scared of elevators, so I'll go in them, but yeah, obviously this story is one of my nightmares. I poked my head out of the elevator, thinking there was someone getting on, only to notice that we had stopped on floor 14, the uninhabited floor. My body went cold as I stared into the empty hallway, noticing nobody around. I crept back into the elevator and looked at the buttons to see if I accidentally pressed it. Nothing.
Yeah, so I guess that, yeah.
The only floor glowing was the ground floor. Strange. I pressed the close doors button, but the elevator wouldn't close. I began to panic. I stepped out of the elevator and pressed the outside button, hoping another elevator would show up. I stood quiet for a moment and watched as the elevator I had just exited started to close, and I was just not quick enough to grab the doors.
God, no.
So there I stood, alone in the dark next to the empty office and the eerie sound of the wind blowing against the building. I bolted for the fire escape stairs when I heard it. The chilling sound of a bathroom stall door closing from the female toilets. I stopped for a moment and turned to face the bathroom. The door was slightly ajar and the wind was blowing through it. That I don't understand. If you're in a high rise, usually you're not allowed to have like the open windows. So I don't.
Is that a thing? Jumping out, maybe?
Yeah.
That was for okay.
Safety reasons. As far as I know, maybe I'm wrong. So I don't know how wind was blowing through it, but anyway. I was immediately horrified. You see, the door is one of those hydraulic doors that close on its own. So someone had to be holding it open from the inside for it to stay cracked ajar like that.
Rusty hinge or something could be holding it open. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I panicked and I ran out the fire escape doors, down the stairs, all the way to the ground floor. That is 14 floors of stairs.
Ooh, thanks.
Crap, I lost my place. Security thought I had gone mad as the floor was empty and just assumed. Oh, sorry. In a huff, I ran to security to go back up to the floor and check out the bathroom. A big huff. The security thought I had gone mad as the floor was empty and just assumed someone from another office had come down for a more private bathroom break. Which is fair.
Yeah.
We got to the floor and walked all around. Nobody in the women's bathroom, nobody in the men's. Who could it have been, I asked. Security said they would check the tapes and get back to me. What really creeped me out is that all the stall doors were locked. Maintenance hasn't unlocked them as there were no tenants. So, I guess if you really wanted to use it, you would have to crawl under.
Yeah.
A few days had passed and I completely forgotten about the experience. Back to my normal programming of sitting behind a desk and focusing on the logical processes of my day-to-day. A late Friday afternoon, I get a knock on my door from 3 of the security asking me to confirm my story from a couple days ago. Your face.
I'm scared.
What do you think happened?
Either they're going to tell him that they picked up something on the camera, or they're going to try to blame him for something. I feel like something. Can you confirm your story? I don't know. I'm on the fence.
I explained myself again and told them that what I had seen, and they stared at each other in a rather weird manner. I asked them what was going on, and they explained to me the following. Nobody came to the floor. The security footage didn't catch anyone on the floor, not even me. I stood in silence. Sir, are you sure it was floor 14? I was certain of it. Each floor has a sign. They assured me they checked each floor to see where I had popped out, but nothing. Here's where it gets more intense. There are tapes of me walking out of the elevator on the ground floor. Normal and mundane. So, he's saying he ran down the steps. So there wouldn't be footage of him coming out on the ground floor from the elevator, walking out normal.
Well, it wouldn't matter. He took the stairs. They're trying to say.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's not it.
Okay.
I asked the security to see the footage myself. And that's when I saw it. On the top right corner of the camera, facing the doors of the office on floor 14, was the face of a woman. I knew she's there. I know she's there, and she knows I exist. I have lost 17 kilograms in the last 2 months as I no longer take the elevators.
That's weird. I mean, I think they have me until they said about how the footage is totally different. I think that's what kind of like, I don't know.
Ah,
That's a little like the ghost changed the footage to show him on the elevator. That's kind of weird. I don't
it's
know.
like movie stuff. Yeah, I don't know if I believe it, but
Good story though.
would that be true? That is horrifying, and I also would not take the elevator anymore.
You know what though? You know what it reminds me of? I think it's the movie Fragile. There was a floor in like the children's hospital that they did not use anymore, and I did the same thing. The elevator came down and stopped and wouldn't move any further, and she got out. It was a hunt. Watch the movie Fragile. It's really fucking good. Ally McBeal, the lady who plays Ally McBeal's in that. I think we talked about this before. I think she's over in England or something like that, and they keep breaking the kids' bones.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good movie.
Oh.
Definitely, if you're into horror movies, check out Fragile. If you're watching this, you're probably into horror movies. So, all right, what else we got?
I've recently left my old workplace for a new full-time position elsewhere.
Is it the same person or no? Different?
No.
Okay.
These are all different.
All right.
My old workplace had terrifying entities that would mess with us all the time. This new place is an old plaza that sits right next to a graveyard.
Like it.
Yippee. If I had known that, I wouldn't have accepted this position. Last night, I was working the closing shift with my manager and another coworker. I'd ran to the back of the store to use the washroom and had left the two of them at the front of the store stocking product. While I was in the bathroom, I saw the doorknob start to violently shake up and down as if someone on the outside was smacking it. I yelled for my manager to knock it off, assuming it was him because of his penchant for practical jokes. The door handle stopped immediately, so I continued thinking it was him while I finished up. I went out to the front of the store and noticed that both my manager and coworker were engaged in a conversation with the customer. I said, "Hey, you guys need to stop screwing around when there's customers here." Both of them asked what I meant, and I told them what had happened. They both went pale, and my heart sank. They furiously denied being in the back at all within the last 5 minutes. My manager went and grabbed the security footage so we could watch it back.
Always got the security footage.
At least they're checking.
That's true.
In the footage, you can see me enter the bathroom, you see the doorknob shake violently for a few seconds, and then you see me leave. No one else was in the footage, and we all felt very unsafe in the space. My manager agreed we could close early to avoid being there later than we had to be. And everything just went downhill from there. I was cashing out a customer when all of a sudden, all of the lights turned off in the store. No, thank you.
No way.
They were off for about a minute while I searched for the light switches. All of the switches were in the off position. I had to turn all switches back on. Most of the switches were 6 feet from each other on different walls, so I definitely wasn't an electrical problem. The customer I was helping joked that we were haunted and left happy with her items. We all started our closing duties and locked the door. As my manager and I were in the storage room, we had a large cardboard box filled with heavy product right beside us. While we watched in horror, the box skidded across the entire 5-foot-long table and fell off beside my manager. We both screamed and left the building immediately. Ended up just locking up the store without doing the closing duties, as my manager believed we were no longer safe in the store at that point. We have now changed our hours to be 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., so that we don't have to be in the store after 10. Hopefully this will help, because I have had so many paranormal experiences I can't count them. I think I am bringing bad luck and this entity with me wherever I go, because my coworkers had never had experienced anything like this before I started working there. Even our CEO won't come into the store anymore because of her experiences there.
So, do you think it's him, or do you think it's...
Well, did the CEO have experiences afterwards, after they started working there also, or was that a previous thing?
Well, they moved. Oh, it's a different job. Never mind. Different job.
Yeah, 'cause she said earlier that the other coworkers didn't have this stuff happen until
That's true.
they started working there,
Yeah.
so...
The whole light switch thing, that's again, pretty wild. Just imagine a huge store, and then every light switch, every 6 foot. I don't think that'd be that many light switches, to be honest with you, but
Yeah, I thought that part was kind of weird.
it's just too many.
But why would you make that up?
Pretty good. Oh, I do actually have the footage of my shirt getting pulled.
Oh, that's right.
It's from behind. You don't see the shirt being pulled, but you see my reaction to it. So we'll put that somewhere in the video because I thought about that now and I was thinking about the security footage.
See if you can find anything.
Yeah. Maybe I'll see Randall. Yeah, I miss you, Randall. But, what else? You got one more?
I have 3 more. Do you want me to just pick one?
What time? No, do more than one. I was just curious. Yeah, it's not that long. So, what we got now?
I never thought I would end up working at a funeral home.
Ooh.
However, I found that the job opportunities were limited, and when I came across a listing in the local paper, the money was too good to pass up.
Okay.
They even had an attached residence that I could live in rent-free to ensure that I was always on hand since I was their only security guard.
I think I've told you this before. I've always wanted to be a security guard for like a mental institution or something like that. That would actually be a dope job.
You should try it and see if you come away with any spooky stories.
Yeah, in theory, I would like to do it. I don't think in practice I would like it, but continue.
Sometimes the job can be somewhat unnerving. Being surrounded by death on a daily basis takes its toll on a person.
Yeah.
But I remind myself that I am here to keep the place secure and to make sure that everything runs smoothly. Every night before turning in, I take a walk through the building to ensure that all doors are locked and all the lights are off. I check on the mourners attending evening services if one is scheduled, making sure that they aren't causing any trouble or breaking any rules. I get up periodically through the night to make my rounds and ensure all is well. If I hear anything out of the ordinary, I investigate it. At first, I thought that the job here would be a piece of cake. All I had to do was patrol the building at night, keep an eye on the cameras, and ensure that no one tries to break in. Beyond the morbid appeal, this place provides for young... I'm so sorry, I cannot talk today.
I can never talk ever, so that's probably fun.
Beyond the morbid appeal this place provides for young thrill seekers, there are also chemicals stored here that an enterprising criminal could use in the manufacture of narcotics, so intruders were a concern worth noting.
Fair enough, yep.
However, as I settled into my new role, I began to realize that the job was more than I had anticipated.
Here it comes.
The funeral home itself was pretty creepy, with dimly lit hallways and creaky old doors. Every time I walked down one of those dark corridors, I could not help but feel like someone, or something, was watching me. Sometimes I hear strange noises coming from the other side of the walls. Sometimes I see a shadow flash past the corners of my vision. Sometimes I swear that I can feel cold breath on the back of my neck. Despite my unease, I try to remain professional. After all, I am here to keep the place secure, not to be spooked by every little sound. However, as the nights wear on, I find it harder and harder to shake the feeling that something is not quite right. It wasn't until a few weeks into the job that things began to get strange. I was doing my usual rounds when I heard a noise coming from one of the rooms we used to store the prepped bodies and their caskets for upcoming funerals.
Nope. Not fucking at all.
It sounded like something was shuffling around in there. I tried to tell myself that there was a reasonable explanation, but I could not shake the feeling that something was not right. As I approached the door to the room, my heart started to race. I wondered if I was just acting paranoid, but the noise was unmistakable. It sounded like footsteps, slow and deliberate. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up as I reached for the doorknob. I hesitated for a moment, trying to gather my courage. Finally, I turned the knob, pushed the door open just a crack, trying to peek inside without making too much noise. The room was dark, but I could make out the shape of a casket in the center of the room. I tried to remember if there was a funeral scheduled for the morning, but I couldn't recall seeing the schedule that day. I listened for a moment, but the shuffling noise had stopped. I pushed the door open a little further, and that's when I saw movement out of the corner of my eye. I spun around, my hand reaching for the flashlight on my belt, but there was nothing there. My heart was pounding now, and I could feel the sweat starting to form on my forehead. I took a deep breath and stepped into the room, shining my flashlight around. The casket was still in the center of the room, and there didn't seem to be anything else out of place. But I could not shake the feeling that someone was watching me. I finished my patrol of the room quickly and made my way back to my apartment, trying to calm my nerves. It was going to be a long night.
Yeah.
The next night, I heard the noise again. My heart sank as I realized that the sound was not just in my head, but was coming from the same room as before. Once again, I decided to investigate this issue. I slowly made my way down the hallway, the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end. As I approached the door, my palms began to sweat and my breath became shallow. My personal experiences have taught me to remain calm under pressure. However, this was a different kind of fear. I pushed the door open slowly and peered inside, my eyes scanning the room for any sign of movement. To my surprise, there was nothing there. No people, no animals, no signs of any disturbance. The room was empty, and the only thing that greeted me was an eerie silence. I stood there for a few moments, trying to make sense of what I heard. Was it just my imagination playing tricks on me? Had I been up too late? I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off, but I also couldn't find any logical explanation for the noise. As I made my way back to my room, my mind was racing with thoughts and questions. Was there something in the funeral home that I didn't know about? I did not want to jump to any conclusions, but I knew that I had to keep my guard up and stay alert. As the nights go on, the strange noises persist, and I begin to feel I am being watched. It's as if someone or something is following me through the halls. Every time I turn around, I expect to see a figure looming in the shadows, but there's never anything there. I start to become increasingly paranoid. I double-check the locks on the doors and windows every hour just to make sure they're secure. I even start carrying a sidearm with me on my rounds just in case. Things just continue to become even stranger. One night, as I was sitting in my apartment, I heard a series of strange noises coming from outside. At first, I thought it was just the wind, but the sounds grew louder and more persistent until they sounded like someone knocking at the door. I tried to ignore it, thinking it was probably just some kids playing a prank. But the knocking continued, growing more insistent by the minute. It was as if someone was desperately trying to get my attention. Feeling a sense of unease, I cautiously approached the door and peered through the peephole. To my surprise, there was no one there. The hallway was completely empty, and there was no sign of anyone lurking in the shadows. I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. As I returned to my apartment, I felt a chill blow past me into the apartment. Once inside, I couldn't help but notice that the atmosphere had changed. The air felt thick and heavy, and there was an unexpected chill that seemed to permeate through every corner of the room. Uncomfortable, I retreated to my bedroom, hoping to get my mind off the night's events. However, the knocking continued sporadically throughout the night, each time causing my heart to race with fear. I tried to convince myself it was just my imagination, but the persistent tapping at the door made it clear that it was not. That's the moment I realized I can't take it anymore. I need to find out what's causing these noises and put an end to it. The next day, I talked to the funeral home director about my concerns. I half expect him to laugh it off and tell me I'm crazy, but to my surprise, he takes me seriously. He tells me that the funeral home has been rumored to be haunted for years, and that some of the staff have reported strange occurrences in the past. As time goes on, my interactions with the spirits are becoming more frequent and intense. I often hear whispers in my ear or feel cold breath on my neck. Some nights, the spirits become angry and throw objects around the room. I've taken to talking to them as I make my rounds, as it makes me more comfortable and I believe helps to calm the spirits. I've begun to realize that not all spirits behave the same. Some are friendly and curious, whereas others are vengeful and aggressive. It's as if they have their own stories to tell, and I am only one who can hear them. Despite my growing attachment to the spirits, I've still had moments of fear and doubt. There are nights when I hear something so terrifying.
Yeah.
New word, it's terrifying. that I just freeze in place, too afraid to move. But then a warm feeling comes over me, reminding me that I was not alone and that everything was going to be okay. I started to document my experiences in a journal, detailing the encounters I had with the spirits and the strange occurrences that happen each night. I've even begun to research the history of the funeral home, hoping to uncover clues about the spirits' identities and motives. I haven't had much luck yet, but I am optimistic. Although my job is unusual, I find a sense of purpose in my interactions with the dead. I know what I'm doing is something important, something that no one else could do as well. And who knows, maybe one day, I'll even be able to solve the mystery of this place and help the spirits find peace.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't
You
do
just
it.
said you wanted
You
to
know,
try.
I would love to. I think I love the idea of working somewhere like that, but I think if I started hearing it every single day, every single night.
Yeah, I think if it was persistent, you wouldn't be able to do it.
No, a little too much, I think. But I mean, I think it's right though. He's true. Like some are probably all right. Like they're just there. Where some might be a little. I mean, the vengeful ones. I think I could deal with like. I told you about my friend Adam. He had a ghost in his house that literally did the same thing almost every single day. Mm-hmm. She used to wash dishes every single day. And the first time I was terrified. Second time I was terrified. By the third time I stayed over at his house, I kind of was like, okay, whatever. It's just doing things. It's not bothering us. It's just a ghost is doing its thing. I guess that if it was like that, maybe. But if it was like slamming doors and whispering in my ear and I don't know.
What if all it wanted to do was play cards with you? And if you didn't play cards, it would cause chaos. Would you sit there and play cards with it?
Not if it was going to cause chaos. Like, if it was like...
Well, it's only if you didn't play.
Well, I know, but I mean, like, I'm forced to play them. I don't fucking feel like playing cards. I might want to play checkers that night or something. They're going to start freaking out and murdering me. Like, if maybe some little knocks here and there, or like, hey, play cards. Maybe I'd be like, all right, yeah, sure. But if it was like really, violent, I'd probably be like, nah, fuck that, I'm out of here. I play cards with ghosts, though, truthfully.
Piece of paper slides under a door slowly, real slow. Mm-hmm. Written on it, it says, the back of your head looks real nice. What do you do?
Sounds sexual, honestly. It goes to asking for it, I guess. Kind of weirdo ghost.
I said, what do you do?
Oh, I'm going to cry. I'm probably going to have to tape my butt up or something. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, you said the back of your head looks nice.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean he's hitting on you. He's just saying you have a nice back of the head.
I don't, though. My hair looks terrible in the back of my head. I cut my hair myself. You can probably tell, especially in this video here. It was, it's whatever. I'll cut it.
It's being prepped to be dyed again, too, so.
I already did dye it. Oh, I got dye the red.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
It doesn't matter. This is really off topic right now. But the moral of the story is, though, if you work at a funeral home, just get used to seeing ghosts. Now, I find this interesting, too. I feel like that is, like, maybe... People say where the the person dies at is where the spirit haunts. But maybe it's not, though. What if, like... Hear me out. You know how you have, like... What's that thing, the in-betweens, they call it? You know what I'm talking about? I can't think of words right now.
Purgatory?
Yeah, purgatory. What if purgatory is the funeral home? Because think about it this way. When you die, and then when you're laid to rest, that in-between is the funeral home. Think about that for a second. Because where do you go after you die? To the funeral
So wouldn't
place.
that be purgatory for all souls who die and go to a funeral home? Because not all people who die go there right away.
Yeah, that's true. Or maybe the ones who don't go to funeral homes haunt? Who knows? Doesn't matter.
Questions.
Everything. There's questions for everything. You know what I mean? Just no one really knows. No one really knows. Anyone who says they know where ghosts go, where they come from, they're liars. Come on, let's be honest here.
I have one more little tiny short one.
Sure.
It's really short, kind of sweet. So.
Okay. I like stuff.
And on a lighter note, I guess.
So cute.
Kind of.
Okay. Well, right.
So I'm a dustbin man. I'm assuming that's a trash man.
Yeah, it sounds sad, but go ahead.
It says, for my local council, One day at work, as I was putting the bins on the back of my lorry.
Not from America. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know these words, but I'm assuming it's a trash truck. Me and my workmate noticed a old white-haired lady waving to us out of the top window. Being polite, me and him waved back. As we returned the bins to the resident's garden, a mid-30s lady came out to us and asked us who we were waving to. We told her we was waving to the woman in the window as the resident turned white and asked us to describe her. As we did, her eyes slowly filled with tears as she explained, "We just described her mother who passed away 5 days ago."
Oh, shit.
I just thought I'd share this story. Thanks for reading.
That is sad, though.
And that's an everyday, just like so innocent thing. You know, they see doing their duty, just grabbing the trash, putting things back, and see an old lady in top window of a building just waving out at them, and they're like, "Hey." And then some lady's like, I'm assuming that house is supposed to be empty.
Or that was her mom. She lived in the house with her, maybe.
Yeah, and she's out there, so like, who the heck are you waving to? And kind of, I kind of wonder if this woman has had experiences to think that her mom is there, or if that's like the first thing to her indicating.
5 days.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if that's the first thing that's indicating to her that her mom is still there in spirit.
That reminds me of, I know I have stories for everything. You're probably just telling me to shut the hell up by now. But, so when we went on, so if you're from Pennsylvania and you went to school in Pennsylvania, you probably went to, is it Hopewell Furnace? I want to say it was Hopewell Furnace. Well, apparently she didn't go to Hopewell Furnace. So at Hopewell Furnace, you can look it up, there's this place called the Big House. So I think I was in my 4th or 5th grade.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So our whole class was standing outside the Big House, and the what the hell, the teacher, the chaperones, I guess, the chaperones were like, "Okay, guys, before we go in, we're going to tell you a story when we come back out. We're not going to tell you now. We'll tell you when you come back out." And I remember before we went in, I was just kind of staring at the house, and at the top floor, the window was open, and I saw a woman take the shades and close them like this. She was like in a period style clothing. I thought maybe it was like an actor or something like that, whatever, just trying to fit the part. Mm-hmm. So we go in, and then they tell us that this is supposedly a haunted house. This house is very haunted. And I looked up at the steps. The steps had a huge gate at the top of the steps, and no one could physically go upstairs.
Oh, like it's
blocked off. Yeah. So that was like, it was a very weird experience. I didn't tell the teachers. They probably wouldn't have fucking played me, but I did tell my friends, and they didn't see it. But very interesting. Yes, she had like the little bonnet on her head and it looked like a big dress. At least from the window, at least it looked pretty big.
How were the people giving the tour dressed? Were they dressed normally?
Yeah, they're totally normally. And they weren't giving a tour; they're the chaperones. They're just the teachers.
Oh,
teachers.
I thought. I assumed there was someone gave the tour.
The workers that were inside that were dressed totally normal.
Okay.
90s normal. Not like now, but
90s, bruh.
So it wasn't like a reenactment kind of thing. So made me think that had to be real.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Whatever. It was interesting. I know I have these scary stories for everything. I guess I've seen a lot of shit. It just reminds me how much I guess I've seen over my life that I bring it up. Whatever. So
you've seen a lot.
Yeah, what are you gonna
do? All right, folks. I think that's it.
That's concluding episode 8. Oh, by the way.
9.
8 or 9, doesn't matter. We are working on a film right now. We should start shooting in the next 3-ish weeks. She's acting in it, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's gonna be. So I get to say a little bit about it, probably.
If you want.
It's about mummies. A mummy. There. That's all I gotta really say. But anyways, you'll see it then. See you later, guys.
Bye.